heading towards the end of the season and you might be starting to think about tidying up your actuals records for the year. This is a really useful exercise to do so that you can make sure you can generate some useful reports and explore the full potential of your data for making future decisions. The first thing to do is to make sure you've synced all of your data on your app so that if you've been making changes on your phone or iPad out in the field, you can bring all of that data across to the PC. At this point, the easiest way to make sure you're syncing all client files is to go to Settings in the top right and then touch Full Sync Advisor Mobile. Okay, that sync has finished now and I'm back on my PC where I've opened up a client file to do a bit of a tidy up. What we're going to be doing is switching a lot between plan and actuals mode, so I just wanted to show you how to do that first. It's this button here up in the top left. If it says plan, you're in the plan mode. Then when you click it, you'll switch over to actuals mode, which is this slightly different color. To switch back, you just click it again. If you're someone who hasn't recorded any actuals this season and want to do the whole job now, your best option to start is probably this one here under Tools, this Copy Plan to Actuals button. This will copy the entire plan for every paddock in the file across to actuals. You can then make adjustments in actuals based on what really happened, and I'll show you the easiest ways to do that in a minute. If you've entered some actuals records throughout the season but know that you've missed some as well, you can use these little P to A symbols for each individual tab and paddock down here. This will just copy the data in the tab that you're looking at. So in this case, I'm only copying this fertilizer record across to actuals for this one paddock. Once you've copied your records across, you can start making any adjustments you need to from the actual screen. For example, if I look at my actual spray records for this paddock, I've copied this across from the plan, but I know that the date of this spray was actually earlier than what's been recorded. We ended up sowing a bit earlier this season than expected. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust the date here. There are a couple of tools we can use to speed up this whole process. The first one is copy data between paddocks. Say for example, I've copied this MAP record that we looked at earlier for one paddock, but I know that this was actually applied to all of my chickpea paddocks. The first thing I'm going to do is sort my paddock list by crop view using this symbol here. Now that I've got all my chickpea paddocks grouped together, but the second and third one are missing this MAP record. I'm going to use copy data between paddocks to copy the record across to all the other paddocks in one step. So I start in the paddock I want to copy the record from, then I click Copy Data Between Paddocks up here. I now want to select all the paddocks to copy this record to, so to do that I select the first one, then hold down Control on the keyboard to select the others. Make sure that you've got the correct data selected up here to the right, so I've just got the fertilizers ticked, but you can select anything else you want to copy at the same time. Once everything looks right, click Copy, then OK. Then you can close this window. If we check the other two paddocks, they now have this MAP record. The next handy tool you might want to make use of is the Find and Replace Data option. This will allow you to make bulk updates on a record if something needs updating. For example, if you wanted to update the price on this MAP for all the records in the file. To do this, click the Find Replace Data icon, then expand the relevant section on the left. Click on the record you want to update, then select what it is that you want to update. I'm choosing cost here. Type in what you want to replace it with. Then you can either choose to replace all of the records in the table or just selected records. If you're replacing selected records, you just need to hold down Control on your keyboard again and then choose the records you want from the table. I'm going to update the price on all my MAP records, so click Replace and then Yes. We can now close this window and check the records. All the prices for these MAP entries have now been updated to $680 per tonne. So those are a few options for getting your actuals records in order. To summarize, what you want to do first is sync your app data so any actuals you've added on the mobile come across to your file on the PC. And then you want to fill in the blanks by copying from the plan, either the whole plan or using the small P to A buttons for each paddock and each tab. You can use copy data between paddocks to speed up that process and populate multiple paddocks at once. You might then want to use find and replace data to update things like your prices and your rates. Finally, if there's anything still missing from actuals, you can add new records directly using these add icons, the same way you would when you're doing planning. Once you've got everything in good shape, you can move on to adding in your production data and looking at some reports, which we'll cover in the next video.